My name's Harland Briggs. I've been on the road most of my life. 30 years behind the wheel of 18-wheelers, hauling everything from cattle feed to construction steel across this country. People think trucking is just long stretches of boredom and asphalt. But let me tell you, out here, when you're alone in the dark, things happen. Things you don't forget. And this story? This one's burned into my memory forever. It was a run from Tucson, Arizona, up into Salt Lake City, Utah. A haul I'd done plenty of times before. Only this time, Mother Nature had other plans. The main interstate had been washed out by a flash flood. Construction crews had the road torn to pieces, so I had to take a weird detour through the mountains of lower Utah. I didn't know those roads like the back of my hand the way I knew the interstate. These roads were smaller, lonelier, winding through canyons that looked like teeth in the moonlight. By the time night fell, I'd been driving close to 14 hours. My eyes were heavy, and the white lines on the road had turned into a hypnotic blur. That's when I knew I had to pull over. Out here you learn the signs of fatigue. You push past them. You don't just risk your load, you risk your life. I found a wide shoulder off the road, gravel crunching under my tires as I eased my rig to a stop. Closest town, 40 miles away. Out here, nothing but wilderness, no glow of houses, no gas stations humming in the night, just pitch-black emptiness. I killed the engine, let the silence swallow the air, and climbed into my bunk. My body ached, my eyes burned, but I finally drifted off. The kind of deep trucker's sleep where your body gives up the fight and crashes hard. Somewhere around 4 in the morning I woke, not because I wanted to, but because I heard something. At first I thought it was part of a dream. A soft rattle, a scrape, like someone or something was messing with my truck. You gotta understand, the bunk in my rig is right against the back wall. On the other side of that wall, the connections between my cab and trailer, air lines, power cables. They're only 6 inches from where my head was lying. And that's exactly where the noise came from. At first it was soft. A tug, a metallic clink, like someone fingering the hoses, pulling at the lines. My eyes shot open, heart pounding in my chest. I held my breath, straining my ears. And then, there it was again. Clearer this time. Something was out there. Before I could move, I felt it. The whole truck shifted, something heavy, 2, maybe 300 pounds, climbing onto the landing catwalk on the back of my cab. The steel groaned, the springs gave, and my entire rig shook under the weight. Every instinct I had screamed, mountain lion. Bear. Maybe worse. I was frozen. Every muscle tight, ears ringing with the sound of my own pulse. Out here, alone in the dark, with nothing but the thin walls of my cab between me and God knows what. I felt hunted. I didn't have a weapon close enough to grab. My rifle was under the passenger seat. All I had was my fists, and fear. But fear does funny things to a man. Instead of curling up, I lashed out. I balled my hand into a fist and slammed it against the cab wall. Hard enough that the whole truck boomed like a drum. The noise echoed out into the night like a thunderclap. What happened next froze my blood. A man's scream, not an animal, not a bear, a man, high-pitched, panicked, raw terror. And then the sound of a body tumbling off the back of my truck, hitting the gravel with a thud. Before I could even process it, voices erupted all around me, shouting. 15, maybe 20 men, yelling in the darkness. My heart jumped into my throat. I scrambled forward, climbing into the driver's seat. My fingers fumbled with the keys as I twisted them, engine roaring to life. Headlights flared and cut across the gravel. And that's when I saw them. Soldiers. A whole squad of them, scattered in my beams. Camouflage uniforms, rifles slung, faces pale as death. Their boots scuffed the ground as they squinted into the light, caught like deer in headlights. For a long moment, no one moved. Then a voice cut through. "Hands where I can see them!" I froze. One hand on the wheel, the other raised. My headlights painted their faces. Some angry, some confused. One or two even laughing nervously like they couldn't believe what they'd just stumbled into. Finally, one of them stepped forward. Older, steady voice. "You're not supposed to be here," I laughed. Dry, sharp. Yeah, no kidding. Scared the hell out of me. That cracked the tension just enough. A couple of the younger ones snorted, stifling laughter. Someone muttered, "Thought he was part of the drill." And that's when it clicked. Drill. These weren't strangers out to rob me, or lunatics in the night. They were Army reserves, running a midnight exercise. Their mission? Locate and secure an abandoned truck. Problem was, that abandoned truck was supposed to be 3 miles down the road. Not me. I shook my head, disbelief pouring out in a half-laugh. Well, congratulations, boys. You secured the wrong damn truck. The squad leader rubbed his face, groaning like he knew exactly how bad this was gonna look on his report. "You military?" he asked finally, eyeing me hard. I nodded. "Ex-Army? Long time ago." Something shifted in his expression. Relief, maybe. Respect. He let out a breath. "That explains it. Most folks would have freaked out." I gave a short chuckle. Oh, don't get me wrong. I damn near did. We stood there under my headlights for the next half hour, trading stories. They explained their drill, how they'd been creeping through the mountains all night, hunting a ghost target. I told them how I just wanted a few hours of sleep after 16 hours on the road. One of the younger soldiers finally admitted it. "Sir, when you slammed that wall, I swear to God I thought Satan himself was coming out of that truck. I've never screamed like that in my life." The others roared with laughter. Even I couldn't hold it back, doubling over until my ribs ached. Out there in the cold silence of Utah wilderness, fear turned into relief, then into laughter. Eventually, the squad leader had to radio it in, assure their CO that I wasn't part of the exercise, and make sure no other squads stumbled onto me. Before they left, one of them clapped me on the shoulder. "Thanks for not losing it. Could have gone bad. Real bad." I just nodded, the weight of the night settling heavy on me. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Could have." Then as quickly as they'd appeared, they were gone. Boots crunching into the dark, swallowed by the silence of the mountains. I climbed back into my cab, shut the door, and sat in the stillness. The fear I'd felt earlier had been replaced by something else. Perspective. The world is full of ghosts. Some wear shadows. Some wear uniforms. Some haunt the edges of our imagination, until we slam a wall and hear them scream. But the real terror isn't always the thing you see in the dark. Sometimes it's the not knowing. I fired up the engine, rolled back onto that lonely mountain road, and watched the world vanish in my mirrors. And to this day, when the highway is empty, the night deep, and the silence absolute, I can still hear that soldier's scream echoing in my ears. And that was the night I realized. Not all monsters in the dark are what you think they are. Some are just men, doing their job. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Tell me, would you have stayed calm, Or would you have slammed the gas and gotten the hell out of there? Until next time, this is Harland Briggs. Keep your eyes on the road and your doors locked.